Hey guys, it's Callie and welcome back to my channel, and today I give you guys some anime recommendations. One of you guys requested that I make a video recommending some anime to you guys, and I thought that was a pretty fun idea. I'm no stranger to anime, I've been watching it for years, and it was a really big part of my childhood growing up. So today I'm talking about a few of my favorite series mixed in with just some series that I genuinely enjoy. Also, if you guys want more videos like this, be sure to let me know. I have a pretty eclectic taste in anime, so if there's a specific genre you want recommendations for, be sure to let me know as well. And lastly, if you're new to my channel or if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I make videos about anime and animated shows, so if either of that sounds interesting to you, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it.
おやおやおやおやおやおや
The first show I want to recommend is Haiku, and if you watch my channel, this should come as no surprise because I love the series and literally cannot shut up about it. I initially watched the series after seeing it on my TikTok feed for months, and I can honestly say it's one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen. When starting the series, I had to take multiple breaks between episodes because I literally could not handle the amount of wholesomeness that was in this series. I cried multiple times watching this series, and when I rewatch it, I cry again. It's just so good. And there's a number of reasons that I love this series, but if I had to pin it down to just one thing that really made it stand out, I'd have to say it's the characters. Each character in this series is phenomenal. They all have such depth and personality to them, and you get to know every single one of them. Literally, every single one. Which sounds like it would get old, but it's honestly one of my favorite aspects of the series. In the first series, they mentioned how in sports there are winners and losers, and how both are people that actually exist. In works of fictions, it can be easy to just focus on the main characters and forget that their opponents are actual people with struggles and things they've overcome as well. However, the show does such an amazing job of showing the audience who each character is and highlights them as actual people rather than just extras, which really takes the series to a whole new level. I feel like the main draw for sports anime is kind of this competitive vibe and really getting invested in who's going to come out on top. And in this series, while you're still rooting for the main characters, you're also seeing where the other team is coming from and at some point might low-key root for them unintentionally. Every single character is fleshed out, and I can see why it's easy for people to have a favorite character because they're also diverse and well written. Honestly, I could gush about this show for hours, and I'm constantly hounding my friends to watch this. I'm looking at you, Christine, so I can't recommend the show enough. I think it's one of the most well-written series ever made, and I will generally hold it in my heart forever. You can find the series in its entirety on Crunchyroll, and you can find a few seasons on Netflix as well, so please, please, please go give it a shot.
私の好きな花ってなんだろういつどこで
Now, I've talked about the Ancient Magus Bride in a previous video, but if you're unfamiliar with it, it's a fantasy series about a girl with a high magical affinity who's the apprentice and future bride to the centuries-old Magus or sorcerer. And if you enjoy magic or fantasy series, I really recommend checking it out. The whole series really gives me big Studio Ghibli vibes, from the focus on nature to just the pure whimsicality of the world. The story is really well written and can honestly get pretty dark at times, so just a fair warning there. But the series has a lot of really good fleshed out lore, and I feel like it's a good embodiment of kind of this old magic genre of fantasy. And now is a great time to get into the series as there are 3 new OVAs on the way and the studio has hinted at a larger project in the future. So in summary, if you love fantasy, romance, lore, and Ghibli movies, I highly recommend checking it out.
はじめまして佐藤真冬です見学に来ました
Next up is one of the big 3, Given. I know it's a stereotypical starter into gay anime, but I genuinely love this series so much. If you haven't heard of it, it's a boys' love/drama anime about members in a band, and that's basically all I can say without spoiling anything. I watched this series for the first time a few years ago, and it's honestly stuck with me ever since. It's such an incredible drama with some really intense moments of frustration and pain, but at the core of it is this genuinely beautiful love story between the 2 main characters. The anime made me laugh, it made me sob, and I love the music in it. The animation is beautiful to watch, so I highly suggest checking this out, especially if you want more queer anime. Drastically switching genres, next up is Kaguya-sama Love is War, and this show is hilarious. It's a comedy about a romantic game of chicken to see who will confess their love first, and it's comedy gold. I was legitimately cracking up while watching some of these scenes, and the entire series is just so enjoyable to watch. The main plot is also pretty good, and after finishing season 1, I actually picked up the manga to continue the story, which is something I never do. Which, speaking of, the manga is pretty good as well. Also, PSA, there's a season 2 on Funimation. I don't know how I missed this, but I literally only found out about this while reading the manga, so if you watch season 1 and want some more content, go check out season 2 because it's also pretty good. But overall, if you like to laugh and want some fun, lighthearted romance, I really suggest checking this series out.
なんでここに
ユーリ今日から俺はお前のコーチになる。そしてグランプリファイナルで優勝させるぞ。
This one I'm just going to briefly go over because everybody and their gay aunt has talked about it, but another one of the big three I recommend watching is Yuri on Ice. It's an anime about gay figure skaters, and it's one of the best things you'll ever see. The story is fun, the characters are wild, and the animation is beautiful to watch. There's also a lot of really fun backstory to the series, from the characters being based off of real figure skaters, to the complexity of animating and choreographing the skating routines, to the very intense Chandler conspiracy theories. This show was a wild ride. There's also some really clever jokes, such as the story being called Yuri on Ice when it's a boys love anime, and there's also this really fun street bending moment that my friends and I found pretty funny. Also, if you're a Skate the Infinity fan, one of the scenes in the show was a reference to Yuri on Ice, which is a pretty solid endorsement if I've ever seen one. The show is just great, and it's honestly a classic, so I really recommend checking it out if you haven't already. Now, I know Jujutsu Kaisen isn't a new or unheard of show, and unless you lived under a rock, you already know about this show. However, if you still haven't seen it, hear me out because it's honestly a really amazing show. I initially checked out the series because everybody on Twitter was losing their minds over it, and I really just wanted to see if the series was worth the hype because a lot of people whose opinions I respect had spoken pretty highly of the show. But honestly, after one episode, I was hooked. It's an incredible series. From the music to the animation to the hype, it's all just so good. The character's amazing, and there's also a lot of really strong women who aren't overly sexualized, which is always a plus. And yeah, I don't know, all I can really say is that the series is worth the hype. The show is also semi-personal to me as it was the series that got me back into anime. I'd taken a break from the genre for the past few years, but after watching this series, I was reminded of all the reasons why I love anime. It's also the first shonen anime that I'd ever watched because previously I'd really only watched series that focused on romance. Oh my gosh, I remember I used to Google if a series would have romance in it, and if Google said it didn't, I just wouldn't watch it. The show really challenged me to look outside the romance genre and led me to a lot of shows that I'm not really sure I would have checked out otherwise. So if you love anime, I really suggest checking this series out. It was incredibly enjoyable to watch, and I could not stop watching once I started, so be sure to go binge it.
Tadaima.
And the last series I want to talk about is Recovery of an MMO Junkie. Honestly, this series is probably one of my all-time favorites, and I'm not really sure why. The story is about a woman who quits her corporate job to basically just do nothing except play MMOs all day. And I don't know, the show just kind of speaks to me, and I really find myself coming back to it time and time again. The romance in it is pretty slow going, which normally makes me lose interest, but I was surprisingly into this slow burn. But the series is also so much more than just romance. It touches upon some pretty relatable topics, such as the horror that is working a 9-to-5 corporate job, and the crushing pressure to conform to societal expectations as you get older. The main character is surprisingly relatable without being overly obnoxious about it, and I feel like it's really easy to see aspects of ourselves in her. Yeah, I just genuinely enjoy this anime, and it's one of my comfort series, so I really recommend checking it out and seeing if it's for you. Yeah, those are some of my favorite anime and some kind of anime recommendations for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and let me know what you guys think. If you guys end up checking out any of these series and enjoy them, be sure to let me know. I genuinely enjoy every series that I mentioned in this video, and I hope that you found something that you can enjoy as well. Also, if you guys are interested in more videos of me recommending anime to you guys, let me know as well. I try to keep this video a little bit more generic and focus on series that I genuinely recommend to my friends or that I recommend to somebody who hasn't watched a lot of anime. But like I said, I've been watching anime since I was a little weeb, so I'd love the chance to talk more about shows that I enjoy if there's some interest. I can't guarantee that I'll do every request, but I'm definitely interested in hearing what you guys like because, I don't know, you guys are my audience, so I want to make sure that I can give you guys something you're enjoying. Also, sorry for the lack of videos lately. I got really sick, and so that kind of took priority for a little bit, but I'm healthy and I'm back and I'm ready to make new videos for you guys. I have some pretty fun videos planned for the upcoming weeks, so if you guys aren't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe so you can check out my next video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, it really does mean a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Let me make sure that I'm pronouncing this correctly.
Kaguya-sama WA Kokorei style.
What?